Hi there, this is just a quick update on the status of our stream after last night's flooding. I wanted to show you a little bit of what the aftermath out here looks like. The stream is still slightly high, but it's a lot closer to its normal levels now. You can still see it's a bit muddy down there. The water is normally very clear, but it's still brown right now. This is fairly typical for what we see after rainstorms. In the morning after, it's going to be looking like this pretty frequently. However, of course, last night we know the water line got significantly higher than we've seen before. In the year that we've lived here, we've only seen it come up to the fence maybe twice total, and last night was the first time we've seen it make it significantly past the fence. If you look on the neighbor's side of the fence here, you can see the water line left by the debris here, and with how high the water had gotten on this side. It was significantly higher on the left side of the yard than on the right, from our perspective. And if you look a little further down here at the fence itself, you can see that this fence is completely bowed in and filled with debris as well. We know it's been pushed in a little bit before in the past, but not to this degree. And the rose bush was probably about halfway submerged. And if I lean the camera over a little bit here, you can see that the debris got fairly high on this side of the fence. And looking further down in the yard here, the fence was probably about half submerged most of the way. And right at my feet here actually is some debris left by the water line on this side. And we recently just planted some plants along the fence line here. Those were all completely submerged. And the debris shows, roughly where the water was. The water line was just slightly higher in some places and lower in others. But what you can also see in the yard here is, again, a debris line that shows clearly how far the water had gotten past the fence and into our yard. This shot right here, I think, is the most telling. And that's on the side where the water line had not gotten as high. Now, one of the things that it had also done was we had left the gate open like this, and it closed it on us, and it actually closed it fairly hard. The fence is just slightly bent and warped here. I had to actually kind of really push on the fence to get that open. Out here you can see these are the trees, this one here, and then that little cluster down there that I was showing last night with the water rushing over the bases of them. This is more normally how they look like this, where if I get closer to the bank here, you can see that the water line is actually pretty far below the edge of the bank here. This is, like I said, still slightly flooded, but not by nearly as much. The water line is probably a good 3 feet down from the bank, but it's normally more like 4. So it's just a little high at the moment, but otherwise it's getting fairly back to normal. And that's been our experience. The flooding usually is only significant for maybe 20 or 30 minutes at most, and then mild flooding might last a few hours and then into the morning with slightly high levels. And that's about it. So there we are. As you can see, in our yard here, we still have a pretty significant hill to get up to the house. The water would have to flood probably another 10 feet before it touched something important, but in terms of vertical height, but hopefully that'll never happen. All right, well, thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Goodbye.